Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome, everyone. So nice to see you here. We are going to keep you all on mute for a bit here and just join together where you are. We hope that you'll join us, though. We'll sing a little bit, pray a little bit, and try to reach out across these miles and the wires, the Ethernet, and try to feel connected on Shabbat. It's a beautiful day. If you are joining us from another city, welcome. I know we have many friends and family of Ethan Hurwitz who are there. I see some of you. I see the Jacobsons right there in the middle of my screen right now. Shabbat Shalom, Claire. Nice to see you guys. Hi. And welcome to the rest of you. I see Lainey and Steve, and I think that that's Max, and there's Ethan. Shabbat Shalom to all of you guys. We're so welcome. We're so happy to welcome all of you to celebrate Max becoming bar mitzvah tomorrow morning. We're going to be on Zoom, so I hope that you'll join us there. And the Hurwitz family will be in their backyard, so that'll be a really beautiful ceremony. Before we begin, though, around 6:15, it's become our custom to share a little bit of singing together. And so I hope that you will consider joining me, and we'll make some Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. This is just a nigun. I hope that you'll join with me. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la la la, la la la. Shalom to all of you who are joining us now. This is a great time, by the way, before we begin at 6:15. If you see the button at the top right-hand corner of your Zoom screen to click from speaker view over to gallery view, and you can see all of the friends and family who have joined us today for Ethan Hurwitz's bar mitzvah. And I also see some friends who are here to celebrate an upcoming wedding. Mazal Tov, congratulations to all of you who are here for the wedding. Celia and Julian are getting married next week on Friday. So the Risto family, the Toomey family, we're so happy to welcome you as well. Let's sing a little bit more before our service begins. Maybe we can sing a little Shalom Aleichem, something that many of us know who grew up with this melody. Words up here because I don't know that anyone else has them up here. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet. We're saying, welcome, peace be to you, O ministering angels of Shabbat. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharim, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch. Koachem l'shalom, Koachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch. Achuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch. Seitchem l'shalom, Seitchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch. I'm thinking about camp, although the summer has ended. The winter is upon us. Not quite yet. We get through the high holidays first, the beginning of school, the ending of summer camp, and all of those long days of nothing to do. Some of us are back to work already. But at camp, this was the way that we always began Shabbat, entering a crowded dining hall full of all of our best friends, mentors, generations who've experienced camp together. With the words Yismachu, Malchutacha, rejoice together with God. Bum bum, ba-dum ba-dum bum 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 bum. Yismachu, Yismachu, b'malchutecha. Yismachu, Yismachu, b'malchutecha. Shomrei Shabbat, Shomrei Shabbat, b'kolei oneg Shabbat. Shomrei Shabbat, b'kolei oneg Shabbat. Ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, bum, bum. Ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, bum, bum. Ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, bum, bum. I am so pleased to be welcoming you, and also to be joined by our wonderful, wonderful team. Cantor Mare is away this weekend, or this Friday night anyway. She'll be back tomorrow. But Rabbi Jordana Chernow-Reader is here leading services with me. Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi Jordana.
It's okay, Granny. Call over internet.
Roxanne is here as well, Rabbi Roxanne Shapiro. Our Executive Director, Dan Cillian. Stephanie Shapiro, our post-B'nai Mitzvah coordinator. I know there's a better title for you, Stephanie. But you are going to be doing many, many things. So welcome to all of you. Shabbat Shalom. It's wonderful to be joined by you. Before we begin, I do have a very special blessing to share. As I mentioned before, Celia Risto and Julian Toomey are getting married next weekend. And I have to tell you, this has been a long road for me personally. Can I just say that I am feeling the simcha in this moment, because I have been getting to know Celia and Julian over the last several months. And I'd like to welcome you if you are here. What you have to do is we'll unmute you, and if we can find you, and we'll invite you to just share a word of Shabbat Shalom, which will switch the screen over to you. Celia, Julian, are you there?
Go ahead yourselves. I can't find you.
I see your family here. I see many who have come perhaps from a distance to be with us on Zoom. Let's see, I can flip through myself and see where they are. If they're not here yet, maybe I'll just wait. Maybe they're trying to get into the room. So why don't we wait on that, and we'll bless them when they arrive. Excited for the Risto family and for the Toomey family, though, and we'll wait for Julian and Celia to arrive. Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi Jordana.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It is so wonderful to get to see all of you. This really is such a wonderful opportunity to spend time with you, to pray with you, to sing with you, to feel connected with you. It really is a highlight of my week and such a joy that we get to have this time together. But it's hard to believe that another week has already passed. I really hope it was a good one for all of you. So I wanted to welcome Shabbat tonight with some words from Mishkan Tefillah that really encapsulates how I am entering this particular Shabbat. And I hope these words were meaningful to me, and I hope you will find them meaningful as well. Where has this week vanished? Is it lost forever? Will I ever recover anything from it? The joy of life, the unexpected victory, the realized hope, the accomplished task. Will I ever be able to banish the memory of pain, the sting of defeat, the heaviness of boredom? On this day, let me keep for a while what must drift away. On this day, let me be free of the burdens that must return. On this day, Shabbat, abide. Help me to withdraw for a while from the flight of time. Contain the retreat of hours and days from the grasp of frantic life. Let me learn to pause, if only for this day. Let me find peace on this day. Let me into the quiet world this day. On this day, Shabbat, abide. So let us now enter into this Shabbat together. It is my great privilege now to turn to the lighting of the candles. We welcome Ethan Hurwitz and his family in honor of him becoming bar mitzvah tomorrow. And it is especially exciting to be able to be having another bar mitzvah, another way to celebrate again. So Hurwitz family, please, if you would join us, lead us in the candle lighting.
Thank you so much. Shabbat Shalom to all of you. And it's wonderful to celebrate this occasion with you. There are a few gifts that will be coming your way tomorrow morning. One from the clergy who have really enjoyed all of us working with you, Ethan, getting you prepared, but also getting to know your whole family. Some of us have known your family for a while. Lainey and I went to camp together. Which makes it extra special for me to be here with you, Ethan. That is the truth. So there's a gift from the clergy team, and there's also a gift from the brotherhood and the sisterhood of the congregation, who want you to know that you are surrounded not only by this wonderful family and extended family who are here, but also a caring and loving congregation. We are very, very strong as a congregation, largely because of our sisterhood and the brotherhood as well. So they want to celebrate with you and say congratulations, Mazal Tov to you. So those gifts will be there tomorrow morning. And a certificate that we'll sign with you too. We continue now with our Kiddush, an opportunity to say thank you, God, for this sweetness of this day. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim. Kivanu v'acharta Ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim ve'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen l'chaim, to your health and long life. So I had planned to sing one of my favorite moments at the beginning of Shabbat services on Friday night. It comes immediately after we have already begun the service. We look towards the back door, the door through which we have entered the sanctuary. That's usually how we explain it. The reason that we do that is actually twofold. What we normally focus on in a liturgical way is how important it is for us to greet the Sabbath bride. As she enters, we have prepared for her. We've done a little singing, a little blessing, and the Shabbat bride enters. There's another reason why we turn to the back of the room. It's to remind us of the people who are back there. In the back of the room are usually folks who are maybe visiting us for the first time, the folks who are maybe a little uncertain. And I know not everybody. I know some of you have your seat picked out and it happens to be in the back of the room. But I also notice that when we all turn, we often find people that we haven't seen who were there before. And we recognize that it is our task to help them feel welcome. As we greet the Sabbath bride, we also greet every one of those people, whether we have been praying with them for years or this is their very first Shabbat with us. So we can't turn and greet people on this Shabbat, but I hope that we will make every effort to make every one of us feel welcome during this service. So I am going to sing, but I also am curious if as we prepare to greet the Sabbath bride, if our Shabbat bride from next week has arrived yet. And I'm wondering if, yes, we have, okay. I am told by my producer that Celia Risto and Julian Toomey, Shabbat Shalom to you. If you say something, then the screen will switch to you if we've unmuted you. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Hi to our families and friends.
There you are. It's nice to see you. You've just popped up on my screen. We are so thrilled to celebrate this moment with you. And it is my privilege to offer you words of blessing. As you consider the week ahead, which will of course be a week of preparation, we hope it is also a week of joyous celebration with your family. This, I know, is not the wedding that you had dreamt of, but I know that it will be a memory that will sustain you for many, many years. It will be truly beautiful next week. And I am thrilled to be there with you. So I offer you both this blessing. Mishaberach, Avotenu, Abraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, v'Imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah. May God, who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless you on the occasion of this wonderful week leading up to your marriage. May you always find yourselves inspired by one another, lifted up and held there by one another, and also cushioned by one another through life's more difficult challenges. May you come to know the threefold blessing of true joy. That is the strength of relationship, the strength of learning, always being curious not only about one another, but about this world, and the strength of what the rabbis called ma'asim tovim, righteous deeds, deeds of goodness. May the joy that we all feel for you and with you on this Shabbat inspire all of us to go out and make the world a better place through our acts of joy and goodness. Mazal tov to you both. Shabbat Shalom. I am so looking forward to celebrating with you next Friday. So congratulations. And now that we have greeted a true Shabbat bride, I hope that you'll join with me in greeting Lecha Dodi, come with me, my beloved, as we together greet this bride of Shabbat. La 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 lecha dodi. La 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 likrat kala. La 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 penei Shabbat. Penei Shabbat nekabe. La 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 lecha dodi. La 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 likrat kala. La 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 penei Shabbat. Penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamo bezachon v'dibur echad yishmi'anu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad v'shemo tiferet v'milah. La 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 lecha dodi. La 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 likrat kala. La 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 penei Shabbat. Penei Shabbat nekabe. La 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 lecha dodi. La 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 likrat kala. La 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 penei Shabbat. Penei Shabbat nekabela.
Beautiful. What a joy to be able to, on this Shabbat, welcome a Shabbat bride and an actual bride, just adding to the joy of this particular Shabbat. We turn now to the Shema, which really has been the watchword of our faith for thousands of years. I know we talked about it last week, that the Shema was found in last week's parasha, but the Shema for thousands and thousands of years has been this prayer that has connected us through time, through space, through different lands, through easy times, through difficult times. The Shema has been that connection to us all. So as we are all virtually wanting to connect, let us continue with the Shema, hoping that will help us connect it together tonight.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Join together in the words of Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha V'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha Ve'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinamtam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha b'derech uv'shachbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uv'sha'arecha. These words inviting us to express the unique relationship that we know with God through our relationships with human beings, to teach those words to our children, to rise up speaking them and to lie down thinking them at night, to bind them to our actions in the world. And in the Orthodox community, you'll see the tefillin boxes. Those are simply a symbol to remind us to see the world through that same prism, that same lens of God's Word. Shabbat Shalom.
So we continue our service with the Mi Chamocha, and kind of on the same vein about the fact that part of what makes Judaism is so holy is our relationships with one another. So these words in our prayer book on page 39 came to mind, and were especially hit where I was thinking today. And again, I hope these words will be meaningful to you as well. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, and that the winding way to the promise passes through the wilderness, that there's no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. And I know we can't physically join hands right now, but I definitely feel as we are virtually joining hands and marching together, helping us get through this wilderness of the situation we are in now. So let us continue doing that by joining hands and singing the Mi Chamocha together.
Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la la la. Ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi kamocha ne'edar b'kodesh. Nora tehilo no sefele. Nora tehilo no sefele. Balechutecha ra'u banecha. Bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Ze Elianu ve'amru. Ze Elianu ve'ameru. Adonai Ve'olam va'ed Adonai Yimoch Ve'olam va'ed Ya la 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 Ya la 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 Ya la 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 Ya la 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 Ya la 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 Ya la 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 la.
So I have been thinking a lot about the Hashkivenu prayer this week, but not in the sense that I have described before, being at camp with everyone with their arms around each other, reflecting on the day. But this week, I have been thinking about it as an anxious parent whose kids are going to be starting in-person learning again next week. And I have always thought of the Hashkivenu as a prayer to help us get through the night. But now I am thinking about it as a prayer to help protect my children during the day. And not just my children, but all of the children and the teachers and the administrations and all of the other people who are back in school. I pray for their protection, and I pray that they are surrounded by God's loving embrace. But truthfully, it feels like it's not just the kids who could use the Sukkot Shalom right now, but it feels like we could all use the shelter of peace, the Sukkot Shalom, as we travel through this long, dark night that we are in together. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, laha'amidenu shomrenu lechaim, ufros aleinu Sukkot Shlomecha. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'porech Sukkot Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. But one of the things that I find the most inspiring about this Hashkivenu prayer, and I find it incredibly comforting about the Hashkivenu, is that we are asking for God's protection throughout the night. And that does imply that morning will come, that there will be a time, a brighter time, when we will be surrounded by the morning lights again, that there will be better days ahead. And I believe that is true not only for the time when this prayer was written, but is true for us as well, that we can help each other get through. We can protect each other, we can comfort each other, and we can, as we said before, hold hands and march together till we too get to some brighter days ahead. So as we enter into silent prayer now, I invite you to think about what makes you feel safe and what helps you to create your own Sukkot Shalom, your own shelter of peace.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, להגיון ליבי לפניך. May the words of our mouths this evening and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable unto you, our rock, our redeemer. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, אמרי פי, להגיון ליבי לפניך. Adonai Tsuri, Adonai Tsuri, Ego Ali, Ego Ali. One of the most important things that we gather for is to offer our strength to one another, to let those around us know that we care about them, especially when they're going through something difficult. In this moment in our lives, in our city, in our country, in our world, it might seem most appropriate to just simply offer up this prayer as a sort of energy we might put out into the universe for all of us. But we also, of course, pause to take the time to remember that while we struggle, we do not struggle alone. That there are many in our congregation and in the extended family of our congregational families who are struggling with physical illness, recovery, treatments, who are suffering from emotional issues and even mental issues as well. We pray for them to find peace and wholeness on the Shabbat. And if you'd like to, I'm going to open up the chat and invite you to please feel free to enter the name of a loved one in the chat, and we will make sure to mention it aloud when we get to that part in the blessing. I thought tonight I would offer traditional words of blessing. Mishaberach Avotenu Abraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov v'Imotenu Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah Hu Yivarech et hacholim shalanu. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal those who are ill. On this Shabbat, we especially send healing prayers to Lenny Rubenstein, Cheryl Strack, and Karen Mandel, as well as others who we've listed together. We think in this moment of Javi Lev Goldstein, Naomi Kaufman, Nancy Cushman, Stacy Oliveira and Harriet Katz, Richard Tormolian, Debbie Menica, Gary Harrell, Mike Berman, Zachary Berman, Olga Tobin, Deb Godwin, Chris Carlock, Harvey Katz, Andy Weidenkamp, William Tyndall, Nancy Bonham, Joanne Hummel, Tom Trainer, Roberta Shipper, Issa Dannenberg, Joel Morse, Myrna Blackwood, Al Gross, Jeff Golden, Rosemary Burkett, and John Hughes. The text continues, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yimalei Rachamim Alehem. May the Holy One of Blessing be filled with compassion for them. Lahachlimam ularapotam ulahachzikam ulahachyotam, for their healing and their peace and their strength to be revived. Vishlach lehem mehira refuah shlema min hashamayim. May God send to them speedily a complete sense of healing from God, from heaven. Refuat hanefesh, refuat haguf, hashta'a ba'agala bisman karib and omar amen. May they experience healing of body, healing of soul, and may all of this happen swiftly and speedily so that we might pray next Shabbat with them next to us. We say together, Amen. It's a wonderful opportunity to pray together, and I appreciate you joining us for another reason as well. For not so far away We are entering our High Holy Days. I thought I would just ring that bell and start preparing us a little bit with a text. The text is from Micah chapter 6, the prophet. He writes, "What does God demand of you? Only this, to pursue justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly before God." So the truth is that this is a text that I have turned to many times before during difficult moments of challenge or uncertainty in my life. Because to live a life of meaning means to ask this fundamental question: what does God demand of me? To question means that I'm listening, trying to find an answer. And so we ask, all of us, what does God demand? For God doesn't ask as if the choice had no consequence. When we look out into the world, we see suffering. We see miscommunications. We see arrogance and bigotry. And the only meaningful response is to ask, what can I do? What is God demanding of me right now? So first of all, the prophet Micah answers that justice and mercy are the goals. Justice, fairness, a strict sense of balance, a world governed by law. We must all be held accountable, he says. Even the ancient prophets knew that only society ruled by law for everyone, for citizens and strangers, for Congress and leadership alike, that only that kind of society would survive. But justice, they knew, could not exist by itself. Human beings would always need second chances. That's the whole point of the High Holidays. God knew, and did the prophets, that the world needed to balance justice with mercy. But here's what I love most about Micah's expression of the balance. He's telling us that we'll never get there. The delicate balance between holding one another accountable and holding one another up. The tension between enforcing the law and also recognizing when the law needs to change. Only God is going to ever get that balance right. Human justice, human mercy are far more fragile and elusive. We've got to try, but the liturgy reminds us over and over again that we are going to miss the mark. We are going to make missteps. We're going to fail. So Micah doesn't even ask us to embrace justice or to enforce justice, to practice or even to show mercy, but rather he writes, pursue justice, as if it were always just out of your reach. And he asks us to love mercy, as if only our hearts can balance our heads. He says, never leave emotional intelligence outside of the law. Pursue justice, love mercy, and knowing how to balance the two. That's the hard road of life. Relationships and ambition, and tikkun olam, preparing the world. So Micah does not then leave us empty-handed. The way to find that balance, he says, in our own lives, in our society, in our country, and the world, is to walk humbly before God. Humility is defined in Jewish tradition as one of the most important character traits and the hardest to develop. One text calls humility the ability to take up just the right amount of space, to maintain a balance between our own thoughts and feelings and the empathy and sympathy that we need for the world around us. A humble person, the text declares, asserts their own ideas but also leaves space for the ideas of others. They learn how to listen. And one way to look at the strain on our society right now lies in our inability to listen, our very profound lack of humility. I think of Moses being approached by God with a command to lead. Moses argues that he doesn't feel equipped for the task, freeing an entire people. Who among us, especially in leadership, is willing to admit that we don't have all the answers? In some cases, we might not have any answers at all. King Solomon, the wisest king in our text, when asked what he desired more than anything else, he asked God for a listening heart, the ability to hear others. Every great leader in Jewish tradition has learned this in one way or another. The path to greatness, to true greatness, leads to the garden of humility, which may only be found through dialogue and discourse. Even God, some suggest, models this important trait for us. In this week's Torah portion, we read, Adonai is the God, God of all gods, the Lord of all lords, great, mighty, and awesome. And then, even with the grandest of grandiosity, the loftiest of lofty ideals, this same God cares for the lowest form of society, cares for the needs of the weak, the most disenfranchised, those with the least power. And in their time, that was the orphan, the widow, the outcast, the stranger. In the past several months, most of our personal relationships have felt this strain. I've talked to so many whose loved ones are far away or threatened by illness, and we long to feel empowered to help. Many others have shared their struggles with quarantine alone, or even with their family. That's a struggle too. The unique challenges facing us as we are together 24/7. Judaism is like every other great art. It's a practice. Humility is the trait that demands of us the most skill in that practice and the most patience to learn. But in this great moment of struggle for so many, Judaism has a response. What is being demanded of you? Only this. Do your best to find balance and practice humility with every breath and every step. We are moments away from this season of preparation for the high holidays. During the month of Elul, each of our clergy will offer a special sermon during Shabbat services to help us prepare our hearts for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, the days of taking stock of our lives, days of deep introspection, of judgment and mercy. I pray that we enter these days with a humble heart, that we remind ourselves that the only perfect leadership, the only perfect system of justice lies beyond us as human beings. When Moses would lead the people into battle on their journey across the desert, he was instructed to carry before them the Ark of the Covenant, which in theory contained the sacred stones of God's Word. But the truth is there's some confusion about the matter, because the Ark of the Covenant, it was a symbol of great wealth. It was ostentatious, actually. It was gilded with precious stones and shining gold all around, even on the inside, we are told. But if you look closely at this week's Torah portion, Moses is actually commanded to build a different ark, a simple wooden ark. And the commentary suggests that maybe this would not contain the commandments of stone, but rather the broken pieces of those first set of tablets, the ones that the Israelites were not worthy to receive. So as they marched into battle, Moses would lift this little wooden ark high before them, perhaps as a reminder not of their great success and good fortune, but of the vastly more important lesson of not taking up too much space, reminding them where they came from so that they would not forget how to get where they were going. Tradition says that the one time that Moses took the more ornate ark, the one from Indiana Jones, if you picture that, Moses took that into battle only once. And that was the one time that the Israelites lost the battle, which, according to tradition, is how the ark, the one wrapped in gold with precious metals and the sacred commandments inside, was lost to the Philistines. Our teshuvah, the work of repentance during these high holy days, it's going to feel very different than in years past. We won't be together in the sanctuary, and we might struggle to feel the specialness of the days. But our work, as always, is a far more personal project. The challenge is to practice humility every day, especially now. Our work is to seek out those places in our hearts where we think too little or too much of ourselves and leave not enough space for others. I pray that we use these days of awe to make sure that we are taking up just the right amount of space in the world, not too little and not too much. Through those efforts, the new year, I promise, will bring us greater feelings of strength and comfort, feelings of community, and a pathway forward to greatness. Shabbat Shalom. Oh, I've lost in my sheet here. What's next on our cue sheet? Rabbi Jordana.
Announcements, and I believe it is Sarah Freeman who is going to be doing them.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi Jordana, and Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I just want to share a few more things about the upcoming High Holy Days. You know, I trust and believe everything our clergy team says, but when they sent out an email a couple of days ago saying that the High Holy Days are less than 6 weeks away, I was kind of wondering if that was accurate or not, because that seems so soon. But guys, they really are less than 6 weeks away, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how we'll be worshiping together during this time. I can't imagine the work you guys are putting into it, but I know it will be absolutely amazing. And I'm trying to think of ways to be healthy and socially distant, but still worship with my friends and family. And I think we might do some outdoor projection of the live streams so we can be together, but maintain a healthy distance from each other. So in addition to, well, one thing you'll be getting pretty soon is the High Holy Day Guide. That will be coming in the physical mail. And another thing you should have also received recently in the physical mail is the Brotherhood's form for the Book of Remembrance. So please send those back by September 4th if you wish to have your loved ones' names included in the Book of Remembrance. There's another option out there if you want to purchase the High Holy Day prayer books. Those are also available. There was a link in this week's email talking about how to buy those with a nice discount on them as well. And I'm kind of excited because in addition to the prayer books, there's also a song. Oh, thank you, Rabbi Roxanne. There's also a song book that I didn't know was out there. Oh, and Rabbi Jordana too. Come on, Brett, you don't just have it sitting around. Come on. But there's a songbook too, so that made me happy because participating in the High Holy Days choir is one of my favorite things. And I know Cantor Viva's got some good things cooking there, but it's not for me to share. We'll wait till she's back and talk about that on her own. Oh, and then finally, if you need retail therapy during this time, like I do, I don't even want to tell you how many things I've already purchased online today alone, but the Sisterhood gift shop is going to be opening up virtually for concierge shopping. So again, there's information in the weekly email about that. So you can get everything you need to celebrate the High Holy Days in style. So it's wonderful seeing all of you. I really treasure these moments when we get to worship together, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you so much, Sarah. At the conclusion of each service, we have an opportunity for reflection and memory, and especially to remember those who were taken from us in recent days. And on this Shabbat, we are remembering those who have been taken from us in the past month, whose families are in the period of Shloshim. We remember Sasha Shoyle Greenberg, Fred Hyman, Dorothy Dottie Myers, Evelyn Unger, Gary David Friedman, and Ray Slabby. We add to their names the names of those whose yahrzeits occurred this week, the anniversary of their passing. And on this Shabbat, we are remembering Eleanor Alexander, Morris Bank, Carol Bear, Donald Bell, Hilda Bergstein, Alfred Kahn, Esther Kavanaugh, Irving Cohen, Harry Cohen, Arthur Cohen, Maureen Crespo, Jacob D., David Delott, Renata Ekman, Zelda Epstein, Toby Fettner, Elliot Fuldauer, Joe Gerson, Lena Glass, Molly Glick, Albert Goldhamer, Bonnie Goodman, Sydney Greenberger, Maybelle Hendelman, Morris Hillman, John Heiser, Phyllis Jordan, Natalie Joseph, Harvey Kahana, Ella Katona, Howard Craner, David Krieger, Richard Law, Inga Levenbach, Lee Leventhal, Fanny Levy, Melvin Lobb, Rachel Lowe, A. Mantell, Robert Marcus, Ruth Medius, Ethel Morse, Maurice Newman, Joan Ossip, Louis Rappaport, Michael Rogers, Hannah Rosen, Isidore Rosenfield, Ethel Ross, Charlie Scheffler, Charlotte Schiff, Betty Schnur, Pearl Schoenfield, Esther Silverman, Harry Solomon, Rosadell Spanier, Alda Spiker, Harry Stadler, Harry Stein, Fred Steingold, June Sussman, Charles Sidney, Mitchell Tavel, Brenda Susie Tobin, Esther Tolmach, and Francis Whitson. If you are here remembering a loved one and would like us to make sure we mention their name, please feel free to add that in the chat room as well. We are joining you in the first year of mourning for Margaret Marcone and Yardside for Norman Shipper, Richard Carl Law, Herbert Witt, Gladys Bennett. Zichronam Libracha. We offer our hope, our wish, our blessing that all of their memories be for blessing. Stanley Herman also is remembering Sandy Fallender. Thank you for that. We join together in the words of Mourner's Kaddish. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divrachir te v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon, u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevorach la'olam olamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei dekutsha b'richu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushvachata v'nechamata, da'amiran bi'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. As has become our custom, in addition to this blessing for peace for our people, the Jewish people, we also offer a blessing for all who dwell on earth with the words, V'al kol yoshvei tevel. I invite you to say with me, Amen. Amen. We'll end with perhaps another blessing for peace. And then we will need to share in some challah. So if you have challah with you, or if you've taken us up on our challenge to bake some of your own, please go and get that. And before we do that, we'll say once again, Mazal Tov to Julian and Celia and your families. The Ristos have been just important members of every program that I've ever done here at the synagogue, especially when I think about our Torah study on Wednesdays and the many sisterhood programs that have been so successful. So thank you for that. And Mazel Tov to you and to the Toomey family. Congratulations. I look forward to celebrating with you next week. And of course, to Ethan, congratulations. Mazel Tov to the whole Hurwitz family. And the Seif, Jacobson, all of the family members, congratulations. Please join me in words of blessing. Actually, why don't we sing Shabbat Shalom? Should we do that? This is reminding me of Friday mornings with our preschool children. They love doing this. I hope that you'll join with me. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam, bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Bim, bam, bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. Chiri, biri, biri, bim. Bam, bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. Thank you so much, Rabbi Jordana, for leading with us today. Thank you for bearing with me with my musical ability, and Shabbat Shalom to all of you. We're going to go ahead and unmute everyone, and please do join us in the chat room or wish one another a Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom,
Shalom.
everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Zoom is like, what is like
Service, Rabbi Brett.
Wonderful service. Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom. Hello, Annie. Shabbat Shalom.
Bye, shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Matt.
Shabbat shalom.
Brad.
Shabbat
Shalom.
They're doing months.
Shabbat shalom.
Thank you so much for joining us. We'll wish you a Shabbat Shalom, and we hope to see you, if not tomorrow, the next week.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Okay, that's enough.
Not letting me leave.
Shabbat shalom to Ruth.
I know.
Shabbat shalom.
I'm Micah Jackie.
Hi.
Hey guys.
Hey guys.